What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. How was your weekend? Mine was pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna be tonight's gonna be a fun one. I've got a really fun guest tonight, and we're gonna have a lot of fun playing some songs and talking back and forth. Let me give it a shot right now. I'm gonna start with one I haven't done in a little bit. This one's called "The River." Kneeling down by the river, another day panning for gold. Can't even remember what I got to sell my soul. Well, it's all kind of blurry, can't see through the haze. Going down on my knees, just praying for better days. Well, I know it wasn't love, yeah, I know it wasn't money. Might as well be my liquor, 'cause my hair feels kind of funny. Yeah, I know it wasn't strength, yeah, I know it wasn't power. 'Cause I'm going blind in the wake of the hour. Oh, it must have been the river, 'cause it keeps calling me back home, back home. Every ripple's just another memory, every wave's another sweet song. How the years gone by and the tales are right and wrong. So I looked into the water, yeah, looked down deep. Every time I look back and see the soul is mine to keep. So I jumped into that shameful cold, with the old man river for myself. So as you drive me to the bottom, I lost my last breath. And I put him in a stranglehold, and I dug him out like deep dark cold, and I ripped my spirit from his withered hand. Oh, you can't trust that river. If it's calling you, you best just walk on by. Walk on by. Kneeling down by the river, crawling away from the shore. Ain't gonna turn my back on the river no more. Yeah. All right. Well, we're definitely on the front page. How's it going, new viewers? Welcome to my show. This is Miller's Music Mondays. I'm Jason Charles Miller. I'm here every Monday. Let me bring on my guest for today. Everyone, please welcome Joe Pug. What's going on, man?
Dude, long time no see. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
I know. It's great to see you. I'm loving your setup. It's really cool. Are you in your studio right now at home?
I am, yeah. It used to just be a music studio, but with COVID and all that, man, it became a film studio really quick.
Yeah. Well, I noticed like you were one of the very first people that I observed that were just like, hey, I'm leaning in, I'm doing this. Our shows got canceled.
thinking back already to like March of 2020, I was getting ready to go on tour with Bob Wayne over in the UK, and every day sort of watching watching the things change and the flights get canceled and the shows get canceled. And I like I said, I saw you sort of leaning into it. So how has that been for you? I mean, it seems like it's another great way to connect with your fans. Before that, for people who don't know, I mean, you would tour constantly. I've known you for like 10 or 11 years, and I know you're always on the road, always doing that. So it must have been kind of a shock to the system.
Yeah, man, I made my living on the road playing tiny clubs for, yeah, like you said, a decade. Then COVID came in. I don't know what it was. My spidey senses told me that this was going to be a while. So I leaned into the live stream thing early. I do that over on YouTube every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And it's been great, man. I mean, I got some little kids at home, so I'm not going to lie. It's been kind of nice being off the road and just doing the live stream thing.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, congrats, because I know you just had another one like a couple weeks ago,
I
right?
know, man. I got 3 kids under the age of 4. So
All right. Well, I'm sure there's parents out there that sympathize with you,
yeah.
for sure. But so you've got a new record out, right? The Diving Sun. When did that come out? I
Yeah,
didn't.
that came out in March,
Okay. Yeah.
it's been great. It was kind of a B-sides record,
Hmm.
but I did compose some new songs for it as well. So yeah, it's been great getting
Great.
that out there.
That's actually, I put out something in May called "From the Wreckage," Part One, and Part Two is going to come out a little bit later. But that was the same thing for me, as there were songs that I had that were like songs I really believed in, but maybe like a record label guy didn't like it or something, or you know what I mean. And I felt like it was a good time to get it out. So that's cool that we had the same idea, kind of. You know.
We're in a golden age right now for being a creative person, and people do complain a lot. If I've had enough to drink, I probably complain a lot too. But at the end of the day, our ability to self-publish has never been, it just hasn't been paralleled in human history. So there's opportunity there, and being able to publish music like that, being able to live stream like this, I mean, this is a pretty good deal, man. I'm not
Yeah.
going to let a gift horse in the mouth.
Right. Well, let's keep the music going. What are you gonna play for us first?
Yeah, this is a song. I'd love to play a song off of my first record because I have a feeling that most people here watching haven't heard my music before. So let me play a song that a lot of
Yeah,
people like.
give
That
us
come.
a Joe Pug, and maybe is this gonna be off a Nation of Heat?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome, great.
I am the day, I am the dawn, I am the darkness coming on. And I'm once, I am twice, I am the whole, I'm just a slice. Some call me gone, some call me here, none are wrong, none are near. I am right now, I am back then, I will return, don't ask me when. I am the disappointed kiss, I am the unexpected harvest. I am the old Kentucky home, I am the son who runs the farthest. I have done wrong, I will do wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing wrong. And I'm faith, I am belief, except for when I'm not. I am the teeth of champions, I am rust and wood rot.
And I'm asleep, I'm breathing, I'm the missing of the passing season. I am the brush, I am the strokes, I'm sickness come to the best of folks. I am renewed, I am just made, I am unchanging. I'm a pasture fenced about the edge, I am Dakota thunder raging. And by my shoes and by my feet and by my soul and wonder, I am the tracks we've laid above, I am the tunnel running under.
Yeah, man. I should talk about how when I first heard you, because I heard you before I met you. My friend AJ Rickard Epstein put one of your songs in one of his shorts, and that's immediate and it was him 101,
Yeah.
and off of and which is on that same record, and
Yeah.
and I ate that record for lunch. I mean, I drank it in and just swam in it, So it was.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that one, it's funny. I don't know what your experience has been with this, but I'm one of those people one of those songwriters that my first record, 10, 12 years later, it continues to be the one that people identify with the most. And they still dig the later records that I've put out, and I play those all the time at shows. But, there's something sometimes about the first time that you hear an artist that, that first one always sticks with you. Like my favorite John Prine record is still his self-titled debut with him sitting on a hay bale, man. And he put out some great stuff later on about life, for another 30 years. But that first one is still what does it for me.
I mean, it may be that, it was so impactful for people hearing it, and it touches something in their heart, or touches something in their nostalgia, and so that even though they love what comes after, they still latch onto that first thing. And I think that's still great, because that means you affected them in some way,
Totally. And what's funny is, like, I do that to artists that I love all the time. Like I'll fall in love with a record of theirs and I'll just love it. Like you said, I'll eat it for breakfast, man. I'll live with it. I'll listen to it, 50 times in a row. And then when they put out a new record, I'm just kind of like, I'm good. I don't want to hear it. The old one that I like.
I mean, we're artists, but we're also music fans. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So we're gonna react to things a certain way.
Exactly.
That's hilarious, man. I'm gonna do one from my album a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That I haven't done in a while too. And when I heard Nation of Heat, and I heard him 101, it inspired me to write. So I want to play something for you that inspired me to write after I heard one of your songs.
Awesome.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's called Drag Me Down. It's, it probably comes from, not necessarily comes from a darker place, but maybe it projects a darker image, which I think people might say that my music tends to do, but I definitely say it was influenced by you. If that,
awesome. Can't wait to hear it.
Here we go. Drag Me Down. This is off my Last Go Home EP originally. I've been stuck in this dirt hole for days, been sucked into your cloudy haze, reflecting back upon the very life that I've been given. That battle's broken on my face, cried out in shame and pure disgrace, but all the while I watched and waited silently and driven. You can try to drag me down, but my friend, you'll never get me any lower to the ground.
You can try to drive me down, but in the air, my friend, you'll never get me lower to the ground. I've been sabotaged by lovers' lies, been stabbed by jealous husbands' knives, the foolishness from other lives has surely been forgiven. I've had high highs and lower lows, and most of you would ever know, but by and by I wouldn't change a thing that I've been given. You can try to drag me down, but my friend, you'll never get me in low to the ground. You can try to drive me down, but in the air, my friend, you'll never get me lower to the ground. Watch me as I crawl to the place that I've been looking for. All these words I scrawl on the page just fall to the floor. You can try to drag me down, but my friend, you'll never get me in low to the ground. You can try to drag me down, but in the air, my friend, you'll never get me lower. No, in the air, my friend, you'll never get me lower to the ground. Oh no. Cool. Oh, you're muted still, I think.
That's great, man. I love that bridge there that comes really close to the end.
Thanks, man. You know, it's like sometimes when you and it was like one of those experimental times where you don't think about what chord you're playing. You're just like, all right, that sounds good. You know, like you're like, you could tell me it was a diminished C ninth chord or something, and I would just be like, all right, but
I know. My understanding of music theory, all I know about it is that a diminished chord usually means that it's a chord built around a passing note between two other chords. That's all I know about
right,
it. You know?
yeah, yeah. I wish I was better at music theory, but
But
alas.
the bridges like that, I mean, it sounds awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. Cool. So you have been doing some live shows, right? Things are coming back a little bit.
Yeah, we got a bunch on the books coming up. We're going to go out. We're doing the East Coast. So now that I got kids,
Yeah.
I don't do long tours anymore. I told my agent, I was like, look, I want to tour basically like a stand-up comic tour. So I'm going to like leave my house like late Wednesday night and I want to come home early Sunday morning. You know what I mean? So we're doing a bunch of regional stuff and we're going to head up to the Northeast. We're playing this venue. It's a really cool venue in Woodstock, New York. It's Levon Helm's studio, his bar.
Oh, dude, I've heard legends about that place. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's pretty much a full-time venue now. And it's, man, if you're ever in the area or if your agent ever recommends playing there, man, it's just say yes, give it a thumbs up or go visit a show there because it's a really neat venue. It's super small. I think it probably holds 125 people
I
total.
feel like maybe the Steelwoods played there, or somebody
Yeah,
kind of
that
in our
sounds about right.
circle played there recently. You
Yeah,
know?
it's really neat, and it's also it was his studio while he was alive, as well. Levon Helm, for viewers who aren't familiar with him, he was the drummer for this iconic band called The Band, and uh, there's this kind of genre of music now called Americana music, which is like a mashup of like country roots music, blues, singer-songwriter, and they were like the prototype for what
They really
Americana
were.
music is today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Americana is such a new term, even though it's been around for years now, but it's still a new term to people that aren't like fully immersed in the scene. Do you know what I mean? Like for
yeah,
your casual music fan, Americana is still a new term or just an unknown term in a way.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just a term for, and I would file myself under this as well. I think it's just a term for roots music that isn't that popular.
Right, right. Yeah, but but now it's getting popular. So what do you do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have to
No,
to
it is.
redefine it. But Levon used to have jams there, right? Is that where his jam used to be? When I know they would broadcast it sometimes, and
Yeah, he had something there called the Midnight Ramble on like Saturday nights, and they'd sell tickets. I believe that it started as basically like a rent party. You know what I mean? Like they had to make the mortgage at the end of the month or something like that. So they basically threw a rent party and had people come, check out him and his band. But then it evolved into something much more than that. And later on in life, he ended up winning a couple Grammys for albums that he made there at the barn. And it's just this beautiful old bluestone barn that has a lot of iconic American music history in it.
well, I'd love to see it one day, and I'm really glad that you're getting to play it. So that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So we're going to go out and play that, and then we got shows booked all over the place. I'm hoping that they go through, but I'm not banking on it either. I'm keeping the live stream going, is what I'm telling you, Jason.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm doing the same. I'm doing it as much as I possibly can. So, well, I think it's your turn to play another song.
Yeah, I'd love to. This is a song off of my most recent album of entirely new material. That was an album called The Flooding Color, and this is a song off of there called After Midnight.
All right. Oh, hey, and before you start, so on Twitch, there's something, and because I'm not sure how familiar you are with Twitch, there's something called raiding, right? So like when we're done, we're going to take our audience and we're going to raid somebody else. Well, what just happened now is my friend Hal Sparks just raided us with 71 more people. So welcome, Hal Sparks Raiders. Welcome to Miller's Music Mondays. I'm Jason Charles Miller, and my guest tonight is Joe Pug, and he's just about to play a song. So you raided at the perfect time. Thank you very much, Hal.
We found you in the street with a list of all our names. There were stars beside the strongest and the weakest. They cut you quite a deal, almost too good to refuse. Some of us don't just worship what's convenient. We thought that our distance was safe, but wickedness can travel. You are not fragile. You are not fragile. You are not fragile. And your father, rest his soul, the finest man I ever knew, spoke a truth that was clean as an island. They gave him every chance to repeat the party line, but he shattered the windows with his silence. So they took him out back in the rain, and they made him an example. But you are not fragile. You are not fragile. You are not fragile. Now they're rounding up the boys in the nation off to war, and they left behind the two-faced and the useless. On the first of every month, the neighbors gather on our lawn, and we dance for their mercy like we're minstrels. They dug up the headstones last night and broke them in the gravel. But you are not fragile. You
You are not fragile. You are not fragile. You are not fragile. You are not fragile. You are not fragile.
Oh man, that was great.
Thank you.
That was really great.
Thanks very much, man.
Have you found when you're on tour, like, are there certain and I know, so sometimes you tour just by yourself, you and your guitar and your harmonica, and then other times maybe you do like 3-piece. What's the most you usually do when you're doing full band?
I usually just do a combo of an upright bass player and maybe a keyboard player or a guitar player, like a melody player of some kind.
Do you use a percussionist at all, or not usually?
Not really. I'll do it on records, but the venues that I play and the audiences that I play to, they're really kind of expecting like a singer-songwriter type show. Like they want to come in and hear the tunes kind of stripped back. They want stories in between the songs and stuff like that. So that's generally what my shows look like when I'm doing them out on the road.
Yeah. Well, that's actually great too, because then, often, and the viewers may or may not know this depending on if you're a musician or not, but often when you get asked to open for someone, whether it's like on one show or a string of shows, they might say, we want you to come open for us, but we just want you to be by yourself, or you can only have like 2 guys on stage with you max, something like that. So
Totally.
that's easy. Then you don't have to strip it down if you're already stripped down.
I'm already stripped down, man. Although I'm going to try to never open a show again for the rest of my life. That's my goal. There's no more.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at a point, man. I've just played so many opening shows over the last 10 years. And even when it's to like really big audiences, I always find it hard to get through. I'd rather do a show to 150 people who are really keyed into what I do and know the songs than play to, 4,000 or 5,000 people who didn't expect for there to be someone there opening the show. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've done both of those things. And I do prefer playing to a smaller but more keyed in audience for sure.
I think I enjoy the challenge of like trying to win people over. That may just be the people pleaser in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like to see it. I like to see people like turn into fans too. Not to say that I don't love to play my own shows as well, but I'm open for the challenge still. I think even at this point in my career, I still like it.
It's I know what you're saying, and I get where you're coming from, but man, it takes a lot of patience to go in front of an audience that isn't expecting you to be there. And I respect you that you're able to do it, but I guess I'm too sensitive, man, or something. But I can't do it anymore.
No, I did. I know that feeling, so I respect what you're saying. It totally makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. I think something happened early on in my career. So, with my old band Godhead, our manager at the time got us an opening slot for the band Guar.
Yeah.
And we opened for them for 2 months. And every single night, the audience would throw stuff at us, flip us off. It was the worst, right? And like after the first night of the tour, we all wanted to quit. But then we resolved to ourselves, we're like, if we can make it through this, we can make it through anything. And I mean, like, we probably got at least $3 to $5 a night in quarters, and people flinging quarters at us. One time somebody threw a full pitcher of beer through our drummer's bass drum. It was nuts, but we didn't give up. But the only thing that I took from that was I stopped looking at people, and I looked people in the eye again, but for years after that, I would always look above people's heads, because every time I would look people in the eye and see their face, they would see that I was seeing them, and then they would flip me off. And so for many years later, I just looked above everyone's head. But anyway, so nothing could have been worse than that. So opening for whoever is just so much more of a joy than 2 months of that, which are still burned into my brain forever.
Dude, I love that the Guar audience acts exactly as you might expect the Guar audience to
They
act.
really do. And it doesn't matter what you do. If you're not Guar, that's it. They don't want to have anything to do with you.
That's it. There's certain bands that are like that. There are certain bands who do have audiences that are more prone to wanting to listen to the opener, but in any genre, there are certain bands that just have these cult followings that, man, it could be Prince playing a solo set before this band and no one wants to hear it. Well, maybe not Prince. I think everyone would like to hear Prince, but you get
Right.
my point. Like it could
Well,
be.
no, I did hear, but it's funny that you brought up Prince because I heard that when Prince opened for the Rolling Stones, that he got booed off the stage.
No shit.
When no one knew who he was. Like in,
Well, there you go.
you know,
There
when
you
he
go.
was first starting out. So, you know, we've all been there. But I will say this. So, in recent years, the most warming and welcoming audience that I've ever had as an opener was when I opened for the Allman Betts Band, you know, which were the sons of the Allman Brothers and really have sort of taken over the Allman Brothers fans that come. And they were so warm and welcoming that I was kind of blown away by their audience. It was really cool. It was really cool.
That's a thing. Like not all audiences are created the same. And some people have like some bands or some songwriters just have audiences that are I don't want to say like better than another audience. It's not about that. It's more about their ability to be voracious about listening to new music and wanting new stuff in their life, wanting new music in their life. And if you're Prince at the start of your career, you know, opening arena shows for the Rolling Stones, you hope that it's going to be an audience like that and not one that throws quarters at you and flips you off.
Right, exactly. I'm going to do one off of my In the Wasteland album. This one is called The Line. Here we go. Mind your own. He said, mind your own. There's some things you don't want to know. Just move along. Keep your head down. We keep our eyes closed in this town. Lock the door and turn away. You can't hear what they say. Shut yourself in. Turn your head off. It's not your job to count the cost. But hold the line, 'cause I can't see where to cross. Oh, you think I should be? Wave your signs, shout your hate. I just push you all away. Darker days, it turned to bad. But everyone don't know bad. Just help yourself, don't mind the rest. Take everything and
'cause I don't know when to find or when to just let it go. Wave your signs, shout your hate. I'll just push you away till I can't hear a thing you say. We all meet on Judgment Day. Cool. Hey, everybody in chat, let us know where you're watching from tonight. I always find it fascinating. Before we started, Joe and I were talking about, you know, live streaming and deciding like whether we're going to continue or not when live shows start coming back, and we both realized that we're still going to do it because, you know, it's cool to see so many people from all over the world watching. So write in chat when you can where you're from. So far, New Jersey, Mississippi, Pacific Northwest, New York, Nashville, China, Nebraska, Pennsylvania. Awesome. So Toronto, Virginia. We need to talk about how we're from. So basically, I don't see if my mom's watching. Mom, if you're watching, what hospital was I born at? Because we realized that Joe may live down the street from the hospital that I was born at. Because
I was going to your site, your website this week, getting ready for this show, and your Wikipedia page came up, and it had where you were born, the town where you were born there.
Yeah.
And that's the town where I live. This town has I don't know, 5,000 people in it. You know,
you may live in our old house for all I know, right?
I very well could. I very well could. And so it was so surprising to see it that I was telling you before the show, I literally thought that it was Google was like spitting out a result that only I could see. Like it had found my IP address and was spitting it back. I was like, it can't be from there. But sure enough.
Yeah. So I spent the first 5 years of my life in Cheverly, Maryland, and then moved to Fairfax County, Virginia. We got some more. We got Kansas, San Francisco, Toronto, Washington State, another Kansas, Pennsylvania, another Toronto, Boulder, Indianapolis. Very cool. Very cool. So you kind of started playing live though in Chicago, right? Like you didn't play too many live shows like as a local artist. So sort of when you started, you were local to Chicago.
Yeah, so I dropped out of college my junior or senior year, and I moved to Chicago, and I was staying with a friend, and I was working. I was a carpenter there. More accurately, I was a carpenter's helper. I wasn't a very good carpenter, but I was doing that during the day, and I was playing music at night, just open mics and stuff. This would have been like around 2005, 2006. And then you know how it goes, man. Like things just kind of took on life of their own, started getting better gigs in town, then got picked up to do a couple tours. And then the next thing the next thing I know, I'm just singing for my supper, 15 years later. So here I am.
Yeah. And playing a lot of cool festivals along the way, like Lollapalooza, not this year, right? But,
No.
that was like, I think I remember seeing that you were playing at Lollapalooza. It was like a big, obviously that's huge, but it was kind of early on, right? Like it was sort of in the Nation of Heat time.
Yeah, we played Lollapalooza, we played Bonnaroo. We played, for my style of music, which is like really kind of folky singer-songwriter type stuff. The crown jewel of those festivals is something called the Newport Folk Festival. Has a really long and storied history that goes back to Bob Dylan and all that, and got to play there once the music went national many years ago. So, yeah, it's been a crazy ride. To be honest with you, I can't believe that I'm still doing it for a living. Like I really, every year I finish the year, I'm like, is this the year that I'm going to have to quit and go back to building houses again? But I haven't gotten there yet. So,
well, I wish you many, many more years of not having to build houses. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you're doing what you love,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, I'd love to hear another song if that's okay.
Here's another tune. I'm gonna play another tune off that album, The Flood in Color here.
Okay, great.
I woke up after breakfast. I left her bedroom late. The streets were filled with strangers, half expecting a parade. I never saw it coming as the first applause began. Then the blues came down on the heels of a marching band. Silver on my fingers, sugar on my tongue. My father stood behind me and he asked what I'd become. I said I speak a language that you'll never understand. Then the blues came down on the heels of a marching band. Blues came down, blues came down. They say that truth and justice must be their own reward. I grew rich pretending while the honest are poor. Don't you play dumb about it when you're on that witness stand. Why the blues came down on the heels of a marching band. Yeah, the blues came down on the heels of a marching band. Thank you.
Man, that was great. I know. So I know. I was checking out your website. I mean, I'm already a fan, but and I remember early on reading that like Walt Whitman is one of your favorite writers, right? And so
Yeah.
rather than what it seems to me, what's so unique about your sound and your approach to songwriting is that you're not as influenced by, I mean, of course you're influenced by other musicians and other songwriters, but you're also influenced by just writers and writing that may never have written a song in their life, you know? And I think not enough musicians do that. And because you do, that sets you so far apart from everyone else. Like, I really
It
appreciate
does, for better or for worse. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, I really, that has always been what's interested me, like that nexus between sort of what I would call like classic roots music of people that really influenced me, like John Hyatt, John Prine, Lucinda Williams, Gillian Welch, people like that, and sort of classic American novelists and short story writers. And I try to thread the needle between the two.
and you do an excellent job. All right, my mom just popped into chat. I realize that she's traveling this week. So, Mom, if you can hear me, what hospital was I born at? Because Joe, my guest today,
Yeah,
actually lives in Cheverly, Maryland right now.
yeah.
And also, what street did we grow up on? Because so when I remember the first street that I can remember is Henderson Road. That's when we moved to Virginia. So when we were in Cheverly, I was so young that I don't remember the name of our street. So if hopefully my mom can hear me, and
I'm so interested now.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
I'm guessing that you were born at PG Hospital, which was just decommissioned, sadly, a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago, and I'm interested to know what street.
hopefully she'll respond soon. We're on a tiny bit of a delay,
Oh,
but
good.
we'll
Got it.
see if she gets it. But if not, I'll text you later if we don't get it live.
I gotta know. I gotta
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, there's so I was joking with you earlier, like when you told me the hospital got decommissioned, I was like, go film a music video there. There's a fry. There's a West Coast chain. It's funny. Like I am from Virginia, but I've now lived on the West Coast for like 20 years. So I'm a California boy now, you know. And
Totally.
so there was this electronics chain called Fry's out here, and they all closed. But each Fry's had its own theme. So there was one that was Alice in Wonderland themed. There was one that was Aliens Invade theme. That's the one in Burbank, and I've been trying to get in touch with them because I want to film a music video inside there of the closed store. It's like a warehouse, right? I'm like,
Oh,
before you tear this down, can we film a music video in here? But we'll see. No one responded.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, going through bankruptcy, it's probably not their first
Yeah.
priority.
I'm like, but hey, I'll give you a little bit of money. Right? You know?
Yeah, they're like,
We'll see.
we're in the whole $2.5 billion. So,
Yeah, we're like, yeah. So I don't know what you're gonna do that's gonna help us. Well, all right. So one of my mods, by the way, so when we were talking earlier about Prince, Demono, who's one of my mods, and what the moderators do is, you know, they help keep, especially when I do request shows, they help keep all the requests in line. They also sort of help keep the people in line, if you know, but he let us know that yeah, in 1981, that Prince opened for the Rolling Stones at the LA Coliseum, and that Mick Jagger personally invited Prince to come open for them, and the audience booed him off the stage.
oh man,
Believe it. And I'm sure a couple years later, those same people that booed him like bought his records.
they were buying a
You know?
ticket to go see him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. People are funny like that, man. You must have found this after, a whole career doing creative stuff, how things are like framed and presented to people. It has a huge effect on the way that they perceive it. It's not always just the content itself. It's like how it's framed, how it's brought to them, how it's sold to them. And sometimes I've been very bad about remembering that.
No, yeah, absolutely. And also people say they hear what they see, you know? And that is the perfect way to present it. I mean, like if certain acts that we know didn't dress and move the way they did, like would they have had the same effect on us? To, you know, we like to think that, you know, when you're listening to music, you're blind to all of that, but you see an image or hear something
Right.
that gets you into that artist first, you know, and usually it's their image or their oh, here we go. Prince was booed off the stage 4 songs into his set on the first of 2 shows for the Stones. Flew back to Minnesota, and then Jagger called him, talked him into playing the second of the 2 shows booked. He finished his set on the second 2 and closed with "Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad." That's pretty good. Very apropos. I one of my good friends who actually played on my latest record, and he's played on a lot of my records. His name is Michael Herring, and so his nickname is Fish. And he played in Prince's band for about 5 years and has some amazing Prince stories.
Man, I've heard some amazing Prince stories on the road. I'd be interested. What's like one of the best ones from your bud that would be able to be told at this point?
Well, he did what he made. What I can say that you can, yeah, that can be said right now publicly
Yeah.
is that all the stuff on the Chappelle show from that skit is basically true. That Prince loved pancakes. He loved making pancakes for people at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But another thing I can say is this: they traveled with 2 rigs, so they they would play their arena show, and then there would be a secret show afterwards every single night. So they would play their 3-hour arena show, then they would go to like a House of Blues or a club of about that size, and then with their club rig play another 4 or 5 hours. And
That's
that was
insane.
every single night on tour. That was just what he did, and what your responsibilities were too if you were in Prince's band. Like you knew that that's what it was, but his musicians were so good that they could just improvise and, you know, just pull anything out.
Wow. Yeah, I played in Birmingham, Alabama once, and the front of house guy there was kind of, older, kind of crusty dude. He'd been around, over the
Mhm.
years, and he claimed at least for a period of time to have been Prince's front of house guy. And this guy knew what was going on, so it seemed relatively credible. And he said that the most amazing thing about working for Prince is they'd be playing these big, I think the tour he said that they were on were like outdoor sheds. And they'd be doing the sound check, and he'd be out at the board. And if Prince didn't like what was going on, he'd come out to the board, like the soundboard for the whole place. And he'd make this guy stand aside, and he'd go and he'd be working the rig like a sound engineer. And for people who aren't musicians or involved in music who are watching this, like, I can't explain how unlikely it is for someone to have that facility with the technical part of it, and also to be able to have the facility with like the artistic part of it. You never see people who are able to do those two things at the same time. I mean, it's very unusual.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he was a bona fide genius.
Yeah.
That is to be sure, and we lost him way too soon. I think it's time for my last song, and then I'm going to let you close us out.
Right.
This is one. It's funny. Up until recently, if you were to look me up on Spotify, this would be the number one song that you would see. But there's a video game that there's a video game soundtrack that I sang on 7 years ago, and I've sung on other ones since then. But the song "Rules of Nature," which was on Metal Gear Rising, the Metal Gear Rising soundtrack, that now has been linked to my Spotify page. So now that's my number one song.
Okay.
When people go to look me up, they hear like this, rah, and it's just me, I mean, I'm singing, but in the chorus, I'm screaming. It's kind of fun because I have a whole group of people that just know me as the video game song guy. And they don't even know anything about what I'm doing on Twitch or my albums or Godhead or anything. I'm just a video game guy.
I think it's good to have different segments of audiences like that. If you're hitting people from different mediums, like, I think that's the way to go.
I think it is. Yeah, because then it's great because then they discover me in one spot, and then they go, oh, he did this, he did that, and then it's cool. It's very fun, to kind of combine all of it. But anyway, so this is the first song off of my In the Wasteland album. It's called 100-Pound Hammer.
Awesome.
See it for yourself. So you walked right in, lo and behold, she was in there holding someone else. And I know we're all sitting around thinking how this won't happen to us. But brother, I've been where you are, believe me when it does. It's gonna hit you like 100-pound hammer. It's gonna couple of choices. You can bust in like a wrecking ball, or you can just walk out and pretend you didn't just walk in and see what you just saw. Now where you wind up tomorrow, at this point it's all up to you. You can let her be the thing that never was, or be the thing that got the better in you. But either way it's gonna hit you like 100-pound hammer. Hey, Joe.
found alone fine.
It's gonna hit you like a 100-pound hammer. It's gonna burn you like a pound of lava. It's gonna hit you like a 100-pound hammer. It's gonna cut you up to the day you die. Oh, it's gonna cut you up to the day you die. Oh, yeah.
Right on, man.
So that's, you know, if that one wasn't influenced by Heartache by Jamie Johnson, I would not be I would be lying if I didn't say that. But you know, once
Yeah.
again, I think it's funny. Like James Taylor said, advice to songwriters, he's like, find a song that you really like and try to write that song. Like, don't copy the chords or anything, but just listen to songs that you like and try to write it. You know.
That's it. That's what I always tell kids who are thinking about starting to play music or guitar or something like that. I'm always just like, man, find stuff that you find songs that you love and just try to play those and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that I give people advice all the time that are like that, you know, want to pick up the guitar and want to play guitar. I'm like, I mean, lessons are great. Don't get me wrong, but I think the best thing you can do for yourself is listen to records that you like and then try to figure out how to play them. Like, just let your ears tell you what your fingers are supposed to do.
And this is the problem with YouTube. It's both the solution of YouTube and the problem. The solution with YouTube is for everything from how to play, you know, the solo to Stairway to Heaven to how to replace the Freon in your 2008 Honda Civic. Like there's a video of the person showing you exactly how to do it. So if you are learning a guitar part that way, you don't have to use your ear to figure it out, right? Like they just show you how to do it. Whereas
Right.
if you're just using your ear, inevitably you end up not playing it the same way that they did, and you kind of develop your own style, you know?
Right. You'll learn so much from trying to figure it out on your own. But it's so hard because it's so easy to do. I mean, look, I'll admit, like when I do my request nights, you know, I'll look up a cover really quick to know what the chords are, but you know, but I've also been playing guitar for, I don't know, for 30 years or something. So, you know, who knows?
Right, right.
But for a new guitar player, I would tell them not to do that. But you know, but it's right there. It's right at your fingertips. So I think it's just a different way of learning. But if you can have the discipline to try to just let your ear tell you what to do, I swear it'll.
It's
make
good.
it-
I remember, you know, I grew up in this area and where apparently you're from too, in Prince
Yeah.
George's County, Maryland. And there was a radio station here for years called WHFS. They played, you know, all that.
Sure, I
modern
remember that.
rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and I can remember I used to have like a tape deck where I would wait for the song that I wanted to hear play and like press record so that I could record the song and then learn it exactly in the way that you're talking about right there, just playing it over and over and over again.
Was it HFS Fest? What was the name of their big
HF
festival?
Festival.
HF Festival. Yeah, man.
Did you play
I
there
love-
with Godhead?
No, you know, we never did. We never played there with Godhead. With Godhead, we got to, and it was funny is we were on the Ozfest, but we didn't play Merriweather Post Pavilion or the Nissan Pavilion or whatever it's called now because we left Ozfest to go open for Rammstein, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which was amazing in its own right. So I was sad that we didn't get to play our hometown with that, but I did get to play the Patriot Center where I worked when I went to George Mason University. I used to work in the Patriot Center, putting the chairs down and putting the basketball floor down, and then pulling it up, you know, and then less than 10 years later, I was playing it, and that was really fun. And my old boss was there, but it wasn't like a take this job and shove it moment because my old boss was actually really nice. So it was actually, it was cool to just be like, hey, old boss, isn't this awesome? And he's like, yeah, you know, so it was like a nice moment.
No, but it is. Yeah, I know that had to feel good, man. I don't know that I've ever had a moment where it was that clear. Like I used to work at the place, but
Yeah.
you really appreciate getting to play music for a living. And sometimes you'll revisit past corners of your life that were maybe not as stellar. And it just makes you feel all the more grateful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then sometimes like super epic moments are happening to you and you don't realize that they're epic until you look back at them later and you're like, oh my God, that was an epic moment in my
Yeah.
life, you know? So it's something epic could be happening to you right now and you not know it.
Let's
Anyway,
hope. Let's hope so.
yeah. Well, we've got time for one more, so I'd love for you to take us out. Once again, everyone who's watching, I'm Jason Charles Miller. This is Miller's Music Mondays. Welcome to my channel. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday night, and my guest tonight is Joe Pug, and all of his info will be is below in the links, and also will be in chat as well. So,
Right on. I'm going to leave you guys with a song called Look Out Desdemona. Do I know that face? Or is it just the light? Did I hold your hand in another life? I worn many coats just to brave the wild. I've been 1,000 men. I've been a single child. Look out, Desdemona, your father saw you smile. Well, yes, I know that laugh as the credits fade. From the way I bleed, I believe I know that blade. I hope my dying words, they keep you awake like a golden rule you just can't obey. Look out, Desdemona, you're not too young to play. I know your secret, thought I could keep it, but I know that I can't. Do you see that moon? Do you see those stars? They have never changed. I have strayed so far. The light just lays itself on your long white neck, like it's softly dead on the night we met. Look out, Desdemona, this is all we get.
oh man, that was great. Thank you. Hey, one of your big fans is in chat right now named Joe Telly, and he said, I play Guild Acoustic because of you. Can't get enough of the music. You both have been great tonight. So
That's great. That's
Wonderful.
awesome. I love guild guitars so
guilds
much.
are awesome. I play Takamines, but I love guilds too. Love Martins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I love Martins. They're just too damn expensive to take around anywhere. I don't want to travel somewhere with a $6,000 guitar, man.
I know, right? And have to take it on a plane possibly, and then possibly them make you put it underneath. Because like nothing's guaranteed, right? You get a bat, you get somebody at the gate that doesn't want you to take that guitar on. It doesn't matter how much you beg or plead, or if you paid to board early or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's all the tricks, and you can show them the FAA exception rule and all that stuff, and they'll be like, "Nope, it's going under." You just have to hope and pray that it. I luckily nothing bad has happened to me yet, but I know plenty of bad things have happened to other people. So You know,
Yeah, they busted up mine, but the difference is it's a $500 Guild and not a $5,000 Martin. So I'm
yeah,
like, all right, well, I'll just go on eBay and buy another one. It's no problem.
right, yeah. Or you could probably call Guild at this point. I mean, that's what I've done
Yeah.
with Takamine. So, in fact, I helped design this color. Here's like my little humble brag: is I helped design this color.
Oh,
It's
nice.
called molasses, and now they make it.
That's
Takamine makes it. You can get it, which is kind of neat.
Where are they manufactured? Like, where are their headquarters?
Yeah, Japan.
In Japan. Right
Yeah,
on.
but they've got a great ESP distributes them in the U.S. and they've got a great office in Nashville and a great office in L.A. too.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyway, Demono says there's a $30,000 Martin on eBay right now. Yes, of course there is. You
Do
know.
it. Let's do it.
Well, Joe, I can't thank you enough for coming on, and this is really great that we got to catch up again, and hopefully, and let's keep in touch. Now, at the very least, I'm going to text you the name of my street. My mom's looking that up.
I got to know now.
First
If
Street
he knows
was.
the exact address, let me know. I'll
Yeah,
go take.
yeah, you go by there and take a picture, see if the house is still there. My mom would love that. Then
Or
you-
if it's the exact right address, you'll know that it is because I'll send you a picture from inside the house.
yeah, right, yeah.
Oh, it's coming from the
inside the house. Awesome. Well, what we're gonna do is on Twitch. What I love, especially when we get rated, like we got rated tonight, is we're gonna take our audience and rate a different musician that I like. And I haven't rated Christy Cates in a while, and Christy Cates is up doing an acoustic show. So guys, actually, I'm not gonna have a stream this Wednesday because I'm gonna be out of town, but I'll be back next Monday. And please check out my guest Joe Pug stuff. If you don't know his stuff already, you've heard it tonight and you like it, check it out on Spotify. Even think about maybe buying something from his website. You know, every little bit helps. But at the very least, give him a follow on Spotify, because that's how festivals decide whether they're going to put us on the festival or not, is how many people are listening to us there. When did that happen? But now that's how it is now, right?
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just we got to lean in, you know, but anyway, good night, everybody. And here we go, rating Christy. Joe, thanks so much.
Jason, thanks, brother. Text me. Let me know.
I absolutely will.
Okay. Peace, brother.